pass to Johnson. Johnson still going. Dummies again. Johnson gets it away to Brown. Brown goes in to score.
Oh, he's serving it down the touchline. Oh, this is unbelievable. They're gonna win it. Oh, what scenes here, what scenes. LeBron James, a shot at history. LeBron stands alone. The NBA's all-time scoring record now belongs to LeBron James.
All right, we're back and ready to chew the fat. STS in the saddle for another week. And what a Warriors win we were treated to last week. And a 13-plus hiding of the Sharks at Shark Park. Get that into you. Plus, we had the Super Rugby quarterfinals with the Blues pulling off that upset dub to keep their season and their playoff defence alive. Add to that, we had arguably the biggest sporting story of the week as well. The great man, Ryan Fox, son of Grant, banking almost $3 million as he wins the Canadian Open. What a great New Zealander that bloke is. So today we'll rip into all of that, plus preview the Super Rugby semis, State of Origin Game 2, and also a bit of a Warriors deep dive as well. Strap in for that one. Your TAB bonus code for this week, of course, you know the drill. Thanks to them for dishing up a podcast code each week exclusive to Surly Talk Sports listeners. A bit of added value that you can pick up from the pod and have a cheeky little flutter on this weekend on the TAB app or website. The code this week is SUPER, and it applies to the Super Rugby semi-final. So basically, chuck the code SUPER and then place a first try scorer bet on either of the two Super Rugby semi-finals games. And if your bet doesn't win, you'll get your money back up to $20 as bonus cash. Remember, limit of one per customer, and it only applies to one of the two games, whichever one you pick. So say, for example, you get on Friday night's game, Blues versus Crusaders. The promo then doesn't apply to the second game, Chiefs versus Brums. You've already had your roll of the dice. So thanks to the TAB for that code, exclusive to STS listeners. You gotta love it. And hopefully you can use it to create some green ticks on bet slips. I reckon get around some Fords at some lucrative odds and see if it is your lucky day. But as I alluded to before, plenty of sport to chew the fat on this week. So let's tuck straight into that. We'll kick her off with the greatest game of all, God's game, Rugby League. NRL round 14 in the books, and an interesting stat for you to show how close the competition is this year. We're now halfway through the season and only 5 teams in the comp have a winning record. For only 29% of the competition to have a plus 500 record at this time of the season is crazy and a true testament to how close the whole comp has been as a whole this year. You never quite know going into games who's going to get up, and if a team is even slightly off their game, they risk the chance of getting pumped by almost anyone in the competition. I was going to say Knights and Titans aside, but shit, the Knights got it done against Manly last week. So anyone can get it on their day. And let's kick off with that game, of course, Thursday night. Knights 26, Manly 22. A golden point win for the lads from Newcastle after trailing 16-0 at Oranges, getting booed off the paddock by their own fans. Went into halftime myself thinking I won a nice little multi in this game too. Had Kohler into Hamole and Manly 13 plus. Both Kohler and Hamole scored in the first half, 16-0 Oranges. I thought, life's bloody good right now. I'm cooking. What a way to start the week's NRL action. The TAB account is going to be looking pretty and I can reinvest it across the other games. When I woke up, though, not to be. A real bed shit for the boys from Manly. Knights win and that Manly Seagulls roller coaster continues. I thought they looked so dominant in the first half. Second half, though, watching the replay, they really did fall apart. And interesting, too, Adam O'Brien's comments post-game about the fans booing them off at halftime. Clearly, he didn't quite get the full context around it, said he didn't hear it, and then jumped the gun and said basically all the fans booing have no idea about footy. They're not true blue fans. Well, it turns out that was their members and their biggest fans. Basically, if you're going to Knights games, then you really are a rugby league dribbler. He quickly tried to backtrack on those statements Monday morning, but for me, the damage has already been done. I just can't see this bloke lasting the rest of the season, regardless of if they go on a nice nice little winning stretch here or not. He just seems so disconnected with the fan base, and I personally reckon they were booing him at halftime, not the performance of the team, because there was chat. He popped up on the big screen, and that's what they were ripping into. Man, I think his days are numbered. Surely he gets the boot sooner rather than later. Full Fizz Friday saw the Storm beat the Cowboys 38 points to 14. A good win for Melbourne. Jerome Hughes putting on an absolute clinic. 2 tries, 2 try assists, 6 tackle breaks, 3 line breaks. Him and Munster, I thought they looked bloody sharp in the halves. Big Nelson, he was a wrecking ball through the middle as well. The Cowboys, to be fair, had their chances, and I'm not sure the scoreline truly tells the tale of this game, because at times it was really close. The Storm, in the end though, just too strong. I'd hardly call it a vintage Melbourne performance though, and I don't think Craig Bellamy will be that satisfied with the form of his side over the last 6 weeks. They're sitting on 4th of the ladder, the premiership favourites, the ones everyone's tipping to win the title, and at this stage, shit, they're certainly right up there, and I always get worried whenever the Warriors have to take them on, but I wouldn't exactly say they're blowing teams off the paddock. A good win at home against a decent Cowboys side, but still not your vintage Melbourne Storm style of footy. Following that, Finns 56, Dragons 10. An unreal shift for the lads from Redcliffe. 10 tries to 1 it finished. What an absolute hiding. Isaiah Katoa, the 21-year-old superstar, he was elite again. His playmaking is honestly up there with the best in the game, and at his age, 21, his trajectory, his future is crazy. The potential that this kid could get to is unreal. I don't think we've seen a 21-year-old look this sharp, this comfortable, this settled in the comp in a bloody long time. Just his options he takes, his ability to dig deep into the line with square hips, ball playing, long kicking game. The kids got it all. Shit, Tonga have got themselves a bloody good half that's going to lead them to glory in the next 10 years, that's for sure. And also, makes me even more happy, New South Wales lad. So our halves stocks are overflowing. Cleary, Moses, Metcalf, Luai, Katoa. That is unreal. Jake Averillo, he had a good day as well, as did the Hammer. Really weighted the work of Keeley as well through the middle. Great win overall for the Finns. Backing up as well, that massive dub they had pre the bye against the Bulldogs. That's what, 90-odd points they've scored now? Maybe even 100 in their last 2 games. That is elite for the Dragons. A horrible performance from them. Clint Gutherson, 115 run meters, 2 line breaks. He was their best. If your fullback is topping your meters run tally for a game at only 115, outrun the whole forward pack still at that low of a number, then you know you're in for a tough day. And that's certainly what it was. Finns wrap this one up, sitting in 7th without Gilbert, without Flegler. Maxi Plath, the psychopath, looks like he's gone for an ACL. Saifidi, he's out injured as well. So they've certainly faced plenty of adversity, but they're still right in the top 8 mixer, and they look like a team on their day. They can pile on points. You probably wouldn't want to play them, to be fair. Then your Super Saturday saw 2 games, the first of which, of course, is the one, though, that is making all the headlines over here and in Australia as well. And Aussies beware, the Wars are well and truly here, and finally their media is having to talk about us as the real deal. Not that we need them anymore, with old SJ running the game now with League Lounge. First episode last night, hope you enjoyed that one. Finally, some Warriors-focused footy chat for our viewing pleasure every week, and shout out to my old mate. But back to the game, what a result it was, an emphatic performance, a Warriors 13 plus. It was just a real pleasure to sit on the couch for 80 minutes, couple tins in hand, and enjoy this one. Of course, Sharks coming in off the back of a bye, fresh and supposedly ready to make a statement. The Warriors without Mitch Barnett, without Wade Egan, 2 of our best. Healy in only his 2nd NRL game, his first ever start. We had Capewell in the centres. We had 4 forwards, 21 years old or younger, in Lecker, Laban, Demi and Tanner. All excuses in the world if we wanted them, but not this Warriors side, not this year. 7 tries to 2 against the 5th ranked side in the competition. That was probably our best performance of the season so far, in my humble opinion, and a crucial 2 points heading into the bye this weekend as well. An interesting fact, if we beat Penrith and Brisbane after this weekend's bye, then this will be the first Warriors team to ever start a season with a 12-3 record. You gotta fucking love it. And it's interesting too, crunching the numbers from this game, the stats, they're actually really even. It was 51 to 49% possession in favour of the Sharkies. Both teams finished with 5 line breaks. The Sharks had 39 missed tackles compared to our 31. It was 7 errors to 6, 5 penalties apiece as well. The key one for me though, we actually finished this game with a 92% completion rate. We completed 36 of our 39 total sets. That right there is outstanding. And just a side note as well, the 3 times this year we've completed at under 80%. Those have been our 3 losses. 75% in both games against the Raiders and then 69% against the Melbourne Storm. So if we complete at 80% or better, even 76% or better, then we go on to win games. The best thing about it too, we play a style of footy that I think translates so well to finals code as well. It's low errors, it's high completion, we've got strike across the paddock, one-on-one. We have players that can stand up their opposition. We have youth, we have experience. It's just such an exciting time as a Warriors fan at the moment. My standouts for me, there were a shit ton of them, but let's rattle off a few. CHT, what a performance from him. 2 tries, 2 try assists, 150 run meters, helped by that intercept where it looked like he was on a treadmill. You could see as soon as he caught it, about 85 odd meters out, he was looking for support almost instantly. Didn't want a bar of having to run the length, but that's exactly what he did late in the game. Heavy boots to have enough in the tank. Well done to him. Old Tricky Trindle made him work for it too, and he's no slouch. So well done to CHT there for finishing that one off. But for me, he's been so underrated this season, and hopefully people are starting to see now what a quality season he is throwing together. I think people often underestimate too just how long it would take to come back after having a whole season off. Of course, last year he was in and out of the squad, but the demands, the rigors of an NRL season on your body after doing almost nothing for a year, just the training load alone would be hard for your body to cope with, let alone playing games and the physical contact. It's pretty unreal. And just on those try assists as well, mentioned he got 2 in this game. He now has 12 for this season, putting him at 3rd in the comp for most try assists behind Cam Munster on 15 and Nico Hines on 13. He's already doubled his career best season tally of 6, which he got back in 2022. He's still got a shit ton of games ahead of us as well. CHD, he's balling out at the moment, and it's good to see our 6 finally not getting slept on, making team of the weeks and whatnot. This was just a massive performance from him, so well done to him. Lukey Met, just another day at the office for him. 2 try assists, a line break, 612 kick meters. I thought his kicking game was bloody good in this one. 75% off the tee too. No doubt some more Dally M points banked for him. I hope he can win it. Leka Halasima, Leka the Wrecker, holy hecker, here comes Leka. 80 minutes for the 4th time this season, scored a try, 38 tackles, only 2 missed. Looks so comfortable at the NRL level at only 19 years old as well. It's truly pretty wild. That post-game interview, that was a bit of a stitch-up as well. Daryl Halligan, loved your work in the past, mate. For so many years, he's been great for us as an Aussie correspondent and also, I think, helping out our goal kickers as well as a goal-kicking coach. But I think he's certainly losing his touch in the media for sure. He wasn't even asking Leka questions as well. The poor bloke was so confused. I've heard him speak before too, and he actually speaks really well. Daryl, he was basically just making statements, which made for a tough watch. The boys were giving Leka plenty of shit as well. I felt sorry for the young buck, but his performance on the paddock was massive, and he just continues to grow his stature as one of the fan favourites in the game right now. Dimitri Vaiamolga, hats off to him. Probably his best performance so far in a Warriors jersey. 38 minutes, 107 run meters, a try assist, a beautiful piece of ball playing to put James Fisher-Harris over. Showed off his full skill set. This bloke can do it all. 21 tackles as well with just the 1 missed. An unreal knock there from Demi. Jakey Laban, 50 minutes. 76 run meters, 5 tackle breaks, 32 tackles. The fact those three actually, Lecker, Demi and Laban, are all locked in long term. Demi until the end of 2028, Lecker and Laban until the end of 2029. That right there should bring a smile to every Warriors fan's dial. C&K, back-to-back massive performances for him in what has been an unreal season again. He is so slept on. 242 run meters, 6 tackle breaks, a try saver on Braden Hamlin-Uele at a crucial time. He's had 2 massive try savers now as well. One against the Rabbitohs, 1-on-1 tackle, pulls it off clean, and then this one at a crucial time. Such an underrated aspect of his game is his work defensively, not just executing big tackles like this, but also counting out numbers, setting the D-line, telling players working back from the ruck where to go. He is just elite there. Also, chuck in the mixer. He's leading the comp for meters ran, total meters ran. He's racked up a competition best of 2,499 meters from 12 appearances. He's ahead of Lehigh Hopewadi, even though he's played an extra game, and also ahead of James Tedesco in third. To well done to C&K. RTS, 22 runs for 200 run meters and 5 tackle breaks. No try, which hurt my multi that I tipped out. Had Herbie into KL and RTS for $10 of the best, but hey, you can't have it all. And boy, did Roger Tuivasa snack certainly put those gigantic calves to use. Our back three just start our sets off so beautifully. Really is that Penrith Panthers method. The work rate, the workload they take off our middle forwards is massive. Jacko Ford, 53 metres off the bench after a late switch, 158 run metres, 38 tackles, 1 miss. Tied for the Warriors' highest tackle maker in this game with Lecker. Another big shift from him off the pine. Sammy Healy, thought he did a great job coming in late for Wade Egan and just cemented that he well and truly is our future 9, and I still think he'd be a handy 14 option for us this year as well. He's just a silky footballer, a big body, has so much potential, has a really nice pass off the deck that just allows us to set a little bit wider, start outside that B defender, and then from there that unlocks our attack and allows us to play into space a whole lot more. His running game out of 9 and his playmaking is also really nice. If you missed the one take episode I did with him, then tune into that. He talks a little bit about that and his touch background and how much it's helped him in that aspect. But I think he would add another dimension to our bench. Just his second game in the NRL, as I mentioned before. And fuck, did he look so comfortable. It must have been a beautiful win for him as well. That one must have felt so good up against the side that basically let him go. His dad's a club legend there. He said he's been overlooked there, judged basically his whole life in his dad's shadow almost, to get the dub in front of his mates at his ex-club. Must have been truly elite. Fish and Aaron, they were outstanding as well, as they always are, basically. Fish with his first try in Warriors colours, 34 tackles and 107 run metres off 12 carries. And then you had Aaron Clark with 170 run metres off 19 carries and 25 tackles. Not many people talking about him this week, which is crazy. It's almost like that has become the expectation for him moving forward. And if that's what he can dish up every week without grabbing the attention of the headlines, then fuck, that'll go a long way to winning us games. Just that shift alone. For the Sharkies, pretty quiet night for their stars. I thought Britton Nikora was missing. Hines the same. AFB only 125 run metres in 65 minutes, which is incredibly low for him. We basically just didn't allow them to play the usual standard of footy. They had an 85% completion rate, which isn't bad at all. Just not good enough against a premiership contender like us. And I thought they just failed to fire any shots. We dominated them, especially in that second 40, blew them off the park, and that was actually the second time this year the Warriors have kept a defensive clean sheet in the second 40. We're well and truly their bogey side at Shark Park. We've won the last 3 straight now there and 4 of our last 5. You just have to love that. And on that note, we've been so good away from home this year. It seems like we've barely played at Mount Smart. When you factor in Vegas, the Christchurch home game as well for Anzac, Magic Round against the Cows being a home game for us too. But 6 of our 10 wins this season have come on Aussie soil, which is a massive part as to why we're sitting in 3rd on the ladder. And that was actually our 5th straight win in Sydney as a club. That's the first time the Warriors have achieved that in our history. So a nice little stat for you there. Overall, a massive dub, one Warriors fans should be incredibly proud of, which from what I've seen, we well and truly are. Some positive news out of the club again this week too. It just seems to be all happening at the moment. Good things aplenty, which you love to see. The young gun though, Bishop Neal, locked in until the end of 2028 as well. This is a massive signing for our club. This bloke is a future superstar of our game. He still has areas to work on, but at 16 years old, he can do things that even some NRL second rowers can only dream of. And alongside our other young guns, guys like Jeremiah Lamana, guys from our Harold Matts SG Ball jersey flag, they're going to push up and play at least cup over the next few years. That have just look truly elite in their positions. The future looks so bright. The crop coming through, the next gen. Shit, there's some talented footballers in there, and I can't wait to see how this kind of next 10 years plays out as a Warriors fan. Locking down a talent like Bishop Neal, the chance to be a one-in-a-generation footballer. That is massive for us, and I'm so excited for Warriors fans who haven't seen much of him yet. I can't wait for them to see a glimpse of this bloke because I reckon he will blow your socks off. Just search up his highlights on YouTube. He's doing chip and chases from 80 metres out and going the length of the paddock. Looks quicker than a winger. He's a massive body, already squatting over 200 kilos. Only 16 years old. The bloke is an absolute freak. Then moving on to the other games in the NRL. Broncos 44, Titans 14. I like the Titans heading into this game. I was tipping them out 1-12 is big value, but shit did I read the room wrong in this one. The Broncos dressed like the All Blacks. They played like them too. As soon as I saw them rocking that jersey on my TV screen, I thought, fuck me, I've got this one horribly wrong. A great cause too, men's mental health, and good to see the lads lift for the occasion and do that jersey proud. They also certainly did Adam Reynolds proud in his 300th game. A great performance from him. I thought Tony Staggs was elite, and you can't argue the return of Reece Walsh was massive for them as well. He looked back to his best in his first game back. Interesting to note, Selwyn Cobbo dropped from that team, played Queensland Cup on the weekend. Apparently he's met with the Rabbitohs and Wayne Bennett. A team with Trell Mitt and Cobbo in it could potentially be a cheat code of a backline, but watch that space because Cobbo, he's really dropped off over the last 12 to 18 months, but the super coach Wayne Bennett, you'd have to back him in to get the best out of him. So keep an eye on that story. The Titans, a bit of a shit show for them at the moment, and I see Tino, he actually has a release clause in every year of his contract remaining. If I was him, the Perth Bears in 2027, that looks like a great opportunity to get out of the Gold Coast, head to a brand new club, start fresh under Mel, who he has a relationship already after Mel used to run the cutter at the Titans. Bank a massive paycheck, take someone like a Jaden Campbell with you as well. That would be two big names to kick off that franchise. You can be their marquee signing. I just can't see the lads from the Gold Coast going anywhere in a hurry at the moment. Super Sunday, Raiders 36, Bunnies 12, Big Paps, J Paps, unreal from him, became the most capped ever Canberra Raiders player and capped off the occasion as well with not just one but two tries and a beautiful conversion. Shit, the big fella can slot it, and there's just something so beautiful on the eye about seeing a big bopper, a high number on their back, mulleted, just putting the stead on the tee and banging it right through the stick. Shit, did he send it as well. I reckon he could have got that from halfway. I've never seen a seed kick so hard. A beautiful strike, and you could argue he should keep the tee for the rest of the season. An unreal nudge right there. Good to see Ricky Stewart so emotional as well. Fuck, does he bleed that Canberra green. Such a passionate coach. The Bunnies, though, they led this game 12-0. Looked like they were going to spoil the party, but then the Raiders turned it on. Tough scenes for Cody Walker as well, leaving the game injured. Do have to wonder if Father Time is catching up on him a little bit at the moment. He's played 2 games in the last 7 rounds. He's 35 years old now, seems to be picking up all these soft tissue injuries. I think this one was a groin. Could be a little bit of a downhill slide here for the old boy. Tigers 14, Panthers 18. Good game to watch this one. Tigers gave it a red hot crack, but the Panthers just too good in the end. Scotty Sorensen, man of the match for me. He had a heck of a game. It wasn't all bad news from the Tigers post this game, though. They signed KPP from the Knights. Kai Pearce-Paul, I reckon that's a handy pickup. He seems excited to get under Benji's tutelage. Got a great skill set that I don't think has been utilised utilised at the Knights. And then more recently as well, they announced the signing of Taylor May on Tuesday to a train and trial contract. And straight away, I reckon he becomes one of their best attacking weapons. Looks to be a little bit out of shape, so it'll be interesting to see how long it takes him to get back to NRL standard. Of course, been out the game for a little bit now. And I saw a video where he was announcing his new podcast with his brother Terrell the other day. That'll be an interesting listen to, blokes that certainly don't hold back on their opinions. So no doubt there'll be plenty of drama and storylines to arise from that one. I'd say the Tigers owners are probably like, fuck me, do you two blokes really need to launch a podcast right now? But Taylor looked like he was carrying a bit of weight, so he's got a bit to do in the terms of fitness, no doubt, to get himself back up to the regular grind of the NRL. But shit, that Tigers backline really starting to form now. Plenty of young, lethal attacking talent, so keen to see how they progress over the next couple of years. And then on Monday, of course, last game of the round. How good was Monday night footy? 6 p.m. kickoff. You fuck off the news. You don't need that depressing stuff in your life. You get to strap into your couch and watch a quality game of code, and that's exactly what this one was. Doggies 30, Eels 12. Eels put up a good fight for the first half, but after that, the Bulldogs just blew them off the paddock. Lockie Galvin got his dream start, crosses for a meaty. The Dogs pile on the points while he's on. It was interesting to see Toby Sexton moved to 9-2 and him say post-game that they hadn't practiced there all week. He was a little bit shocked when the trainer told him to go on and play 9, but a full testament and credit to the bloke. Didn't complain, went in there, did a bloody good job too, and I wouldn't be surprised if that is a lineup they look to implement moving forward. I thought Burden was unreal, Jacob Kiraz a gun too, Viliami Kikau caused havoc on that edge, and then that shot Marcelo Montoya put on Will Penasini, that had to be one of the biggest hits of the season so far. You love to see it. This week, round 15, bye-week footy, of course, Origin next Wednesday, so just the 5 games. We'll rip into those pretty quickly. Thursday night footy tonight, Sharks, Dragons, the Shane Flanagan Bowl, both teams coming off last start hiding, so both will be hungry. Cronulla getting pumped by us and the Dragons getting pumped by the Finns. Interesting to note too, the Sharks have won 9 straight and 11 of their last 12 against the Dragons, so recent form, recent history suggests Sharkies too good. But both of these sides will be up for this one after being bloody disappointed in their performances last week. Ronaldo Mulitalo comes back from the Sharks. He's done his time on suspension and he'll take his spot on the wing. Of course, KL Iro out now with a pec injury, so Hiroti pushes to the centres. Then for the Dragons, Val Holmes, he's on Origin duty. Corey Allen comes into the centres for him. Tyrell Sloan returns to the wing. Emre Gula in at prop. Luciano Leilua starts in the back row in place of Raylan Faitala Mariner, who is out with illness. I think the Sharkies bounce back here. Surely they just have too many weapons for a Dragons side that I reckon last week could well have kicked off the start of their downhill trajectory. They got some decent players. I'm just not sure if they can go with these teams the top of the comp for the duration of a season. But hey, we'll find out tonight, I guess. And fuck, like I said before, the comp's so close this year. I wouldn't be surprised if they do get up, because that's just the way everything is played out in 2025. Friday night code, Titans versus Manly, the Des Hasler and Kieran Foran Bowl. A couple games to kick us off with ex-coaches and players taking on their old sides. But the Eagles, they fly to the Gold Coast and they'll be aiming to put their disappointment of that Golden Point loss behind them. The Gold Coast, they will of course be without 2 of their best, and Big Tino and Big Mo Fotuaika as well, both on Origin duty. Manly, they have no Origin emissions. DCE dropped. Big Hamole, he pulled out of being 18th man because he's expecting the birth of his child next week. Then you got Tommy Turbo back from injury, Jason Saab, and Taukiaho also back. Hopewadi out after knocking himself out trying to ground that ball last week. That was pretty bizarre to see. His head, the old noggin, hit the turf bloody hard, and that ruled him out early doors. And now he'll sit out for 12 days. But Manly, for me, I reckon their number one priority should be dominating the rest of this Origin window, because they really do have no excuses, them and the Sharks. And if they can pick up some wins here up against teams without their best players, that could prove crucial in them making the top 8 at the back end end of the season. Saturday, Knights versus Roosters. Knights, fresh off that last gas, come from behind win. They'll be hoping to keep some momentum going, and Adam O'Brien will be hoping they get the dub to keep him another week in the job. Roosters coming into this match off the back of a bye, so they will be well rested. For the Knights, of course, no KP. He's in Maroons camp, so Fletcher Sharp moves to fullback. Jackson Hastings comes in for his first game of the season at 5'8". In my opinion, he's their best 7. It's just been off-field drama that supposedly had kept him out of this team, so the Knights here have swallowed their pride and chucked him in the mixer. He's on a shit ton of cash too. I think he's on about 800k plus, so the fact they've just been letting him chip away in New South Wales Cup footy, consuming so much of their salary cap, is a little bit bizarre. To be fair though, it's pretty on brand for the Knights. I reckon Hastings is going to have a good game in this one. For the Roosters, they have 5 boys out with State of Origin, but they get some big ins as well. Sam Walker, back for his first NRL game since round 26 last year, did his ACL, returned for the Chooks in New South Wales Cup last week, and by all accounts, he played some pretty decent footy off the back of a long layoff, so good to see him back in the mixer. He will partner Hugo Savala in the halves. Dommy Young comes onto the wing. Mark Nwanganetawase moves to centre in replacement of Robert Toya. Then the Fahu White and Nat Butcher, they both come back in. Egan Butcher joins the starting side as well for Angus Crichton, who of course is lacing up for the Blues. I've got the Chooks winning that one surely. Cowboys versus Finns. 6th versus 7th on the ladder, and probably the game of the weekend for me. Cowboys coming off that loss to the Storm, and they'll have to do it without Tommy Dearden, Cotter, Reece Robson and Jeremiah Nanai, but they do welcome back Murray Taulangi, Kai O'Donnell and Jason Taumalolo from injury. The Dolphins, they come in full of confidence after putting half a century on the Red V. No Hammer, of course. He's with Queensland, but as long as Katoa's there in the 7 jersey, then they are absolutely a puncher's chance. And they actually have a really good record at Queensland Country Bank Stadium, which I'll touch more on in the old stats of the punting segment shortly. Finns by a beestick for me in this one. Then your final game of the round, Bunnies versus Dogs. Dogs sitting pretty at the top of the ladder, but they'll have their depth tested once again. No Stephen Crichton, no Kurt Mann, no Max King, and no Matt Burton, who for the 400th time has been called in as 18th man for New South Wales. Shit, that must be frustrating for that bloke. Means he doesn't get to play this weekend, of course, and he only gets to check into the game next weekend if required due to HIAs. But for the Bunnies, Jai Gray, he'll play fullback. Latrell Mitchell, of course, on Origin duty. Jaden Sullivan moves into 5'8" in the absence of Cody Walker, and Humphreys is back at halfback. Campbell Graham, he's listed among the reserves as he looks to return from back spasms that ruled him out last week as well, and he would be a big inclusion. For the Doggies, Galvin finally in the starting side due to that Matt Burton 18th man selection. Jacob Keraz moves to the centres. He'll cover for Stephen Crichton. Blake Wilson comes onto the wing. And then Maxi King, of course, he's on Origin duty too. So Joshy Curran shifts to the front row. And Jacob Preston, he's back from suspension and he'll take his spot in the second row. I like the Dogs to win that one. Don't think the Bunnies will have enough, missing their star power at the moment. And the Dogs, they just have such a settled roster, such a strong roster, and with Galvin there now, a player like him to come in and start for Burton, what a luxury. Surely they're bloody close to being over the salary cap, although the old Gussie Gould factor probably keeps them under. That bloke and his Chinese restaurant dinners, Aki can recruit almost anyone, it seems. And then finally, a little bit of Origin chat to close us out for your rugby league. Of course, sides named earlier this week. And it's just chaos in the Queensland camp at the moment. It appears to me Billy Slater trying his best to get sacked. New South Wales fans should be getting their brooms out left, right and centre, because this Queensland team, I just can't make sense of a lot of the key decisions. I'll run you through it, of course. KP at the back, Coates and the Hammer on wings. Interesting to see the Hammer on a wing. Don't exactly see him as a big yardage carry type of guy. He's one of those guys you want pushing up through the middle of the paddock in support whenever there's line breaks, which he does so well at centre. The fact that he'll be taking yardage carries on tackle 2 and 3 just seems like such a weird use for him. Then in the centres, Robert Toya and Valentine Holmes. The halves, Cammy Munster, he's the skipper as well. Don't mind that. At first, when I heard DCE was dropped straight away for your captaincy, I was thinking either Harry Grant or Paddy Carrigan. Well, Grant, he didn't get the nod. Carrigan, he's been benched. More on that shortly. But Munster, a great decision. Yes, he is older, and it's probably more a short-term play. But when you think of that Queensland spirit, or that so-called Queensland spirit, then Munster personifies that. He always rips in, hard on sleeve. He's going to go out there and give it 100%. He's a real follow-me type of operator. He'll pour everything onto that footy paddock for that jersey, and no doubt he'll bring that into his leadership too. I can see it going either way though. He's a bit of a hothead that can lose his cool, so maybe the captaincy on top of that could rattle him. I do think though we're in for a big Cam Munster performance. Then of course Tommy Dearden in the 7, DCE dropped. Pretty cutthroat to be fair, although I thought Dearden was probably Queensland's best when he came on the paddock in game 1. DCE certainly well below his usual standards, and at his age, you just have to wonder if he's starting to decline now. Started the season for Manly in bloody good form, but since that whole contract scandal, you got to wonder, you got to think that that really is affecting him, because his form since all of that came out has been pretty bang average. He was average in game 1. I do think though, they will miss his long kicking game, and yes, Munster kicked for more metres than him in game 1, but that was pretty much the problem. Both Dearden and Munster have great short kicking games, but they don't have that long boot that can help them win the field position battle. Complete opposite to the New South Wales halves in Cleary and Moses, which is why I love this matchup for the Blues so much. I do think they're going to miss DCE's big boot. I just can't see a world in which New South Wales aren't starting their sets 10 to 20 metres ahead of where Queensland are every time we kick them the football. And the props, Mo Fotuaika, Tino Fa'asuamala-Aoi, the Titans combination. Interesting to see Mo keep his starting spot there. I thought they might have mixed that up. Harry Grant in the 9, he picks himself. Ruben Cotter and Kurt Capewell as your second rowers. Shout out to Kurtie Capes. I thought he might have got picked for game 1. He didn't, but Billy's gone to him in game 2. He's been elite for the Warriors. I see so many Queensland fans questioning his decision due to him leading the missed tackle count by about 20-odd missed tackles. To them, I will say though, if you watch a Warriors game and you watch Capes play, I don't believe they're genuine missed tackles. I don't think you can count every missed tackle as being the same. When you watch Capes, he's leading our line speed, flying up. He's leading our kick chase, always gets his shoulder on, falls off the tackle then, but then he comes back in as that second man in. His effort areas are massive. He's been unreal for us this year. His last 6 to 7 weeks has been some of the best he's played, not just in a Warriors jersey, but in a bloody long time too. He's been a great leader for us as well, and I think he'll have a good impact there for Queensland. In the 13 jersey, Trent Learu, a player who I'm sure Queensland fans are stoked that their players have their names on the back of the jerseys, because the majority of Maroons fans wouldn't know who the fuck Trent is. Respectfully, I say that as well. He's a good footballer, plays for the Melbourne Storm, but the fact he's starting in the 13 ahead of someone like Patrick Carrigan, I just can't work that out. In the 14 jersey, Kurt Mann, deserved. He's been unreal for the Dogs, deserves his Origin debut, a great utility player, very similar mould to someone like a Connor Watson, and I reckon he'll go great at Origin level. 15, Lindsay Collins. Did fuck all in game 1 for me. Not someone who scares me. Looks like one of the monsters of Space Jam. Hasn't played a lot of footy in clubland for the Roosters either, but hey, he gets picked. Jeremiah Nana, I thought he was one of Queensland's best in game 1 again, but I do think he'll have good impact off the bench for them. A big body who can add some real attacking flair, and he hit hard in game 1 as well. I was impressed with him. And then in 17, Pat Carrigan again. Geez, he's one of the best forwards in the game, let alone in their state. As I mentioned, I had him down as a potential captain. He's going to be in this Queensland side for the next 10 plus years. This one, a real head scratcher, but as a Blues fan, extremely grateful that he is on the bench. The extended Ezra Mam in 18. Can't work this one out at all. Of all those crazy selections I've just touched on, this one to me, the most puzzling. Yes, he's a good footballer. He's been in the Origin squad, wider squad before. Giving him another taste of the environment, not the worst decision. But in a year where he has had so much off-field drama, I just don't get why you would even bother. Footy fans are still so fired up about it. He's getting booed every time he plays for the Broncos. The fact that Billy then thinks it's a great idea to chuck him in State of Origin camp, Game 2, series on the line. It's just beyond me, and even the heartiest of Queensland fans aren't happy that he's in the mixer. I just don't think you bother with the noise. It's created so much media attention on a team where if I was Billy, I'd be wanting to fly under the radar. I'd be doing the whole worst Queensland team ever. No one expects us to beat New South Wales. We're massive underdogs, but we're going to try go in there, get the job done, and lift for our state. Instead, bringing Ezra in, it brings so much unwanted attention. I would have just gone with someone like a Jackson Purdue. He's playing great football for the Cowboys. Someone I see playing Origin for a bloody long time, going well in the halves, can play centre as well. I think that would have made a shitload more sense. But hey, well done to Billy. Jack Howarth in 19, and then Corey Horsburgh in 20, who I would have had potentially starting, if not definitely on my bench. Bring him on same time as Spencer Leniu. Fight fire for fire. They need big Reds aggression. That Queensland pack got dominated through the middle. And if I'm Payne Haas at the moment, off the back of a man-of-the-match performance in Game 1, I look up. I no longer have Paddy Carrigan to contend with when I start the game. And then I also don't have Corey Horsburgh looking to take my head off. I'm licking my lips at the thought of going even bigger in Game 2, which basically means game, set, and match. The Blues win this one. So interesting calls there from Billy. Some I just can't work out at all. But hey, look, it could be a masterclass. Could be a typical Queensland smoke screen. They come out of nowhere and win this game in Perth. The Blues squad, though, so much more settled as you would expect. Just the one change to the starting 13, forced by injury. No mana Mitch. Great bloke, Mitch Warnett, ruled out ACL. So Max King gets the start. Thought he was great in Game 1 and great for the Dogs on the weekend as well. In the 17 to take a spot off the bench comes Stefano Utoikamanu. In all honesty, I probably would have gone Kalamotangi, who was in jersey 19 in the extended squad. I just think he's been unreal at prop. Also can play second row. I like the versatility and the aggression and the leg speed he brings there, as compared to, say, someone like Stefano, who I think has so much potential and has had for so long. Everyone's been going on about it, but even at the Storm this year, I haven't been blown away by his performances. He seems like a steady, reliable player, which, look, come Origin, that might be what you want coming in off the bench. He's a big body as well. And when you look at the balance of our bench, to be fair, Connor Watson, Spencer Leniu, Hudson Young, they will all have a massive impact. So maybe Laurie Daly just wants someone like Stefano, a bit of a settler who can get through big minutes in the middle, won't make too many mistakes, will make his tackles. I do think, though, Kolomatangi would add a bit more punch. Terrell May probably unlucky to miss out as well, but in all honesty, I think they'll probably put a line through him for this year, and he's someone that they will look to bring into the mixer next year. But a bloody strong Blues team, a bonded one, pretty much the same as in Game 1. So I can't see this playing out any differently to Game 1 in Perth. I reckon we pump them New South Wales 30 plus, which I'll touch on in my punting segment shortly. The Blues, they will not lose. Get the brooms out. Again, next Thursday I might be on air, taking my licks, post an Origin loss. But I just can't see it at the moment with those two squads and how settled we look. Our back five so dominant on yardage. Our forward pack is massive. Our halves, they will win the kicking battle. Yeah, I would genuinely be shocked if Queensland can pull this off. But hey, that's probably the mindset that Billy wants, the narrative. I do think, though, if they lose this series, and with the selection calls he's made, that could be the end of it for Billy Slater, one of Queensland's greats. I'm just think maybe he's a little bit rattled at the moment. These selections are showing it. But hey, let's wait and see next Wednesday night how good is State of Origin footy. Super Rugby, a quick review of the quarterfinals before we rip into two mouth-watering semi-finals. For all my bashing of the final system last week, shit as it dished up two good games. I do wish the Canes got up, but we'll touch on that shortly because, man, I would have loved 4 Kiwi sides in the semi-finals, not to be though. The first year quarterfinals, Crusaders 32, Reds 12. Crusaders just far too good as predicted. A typical cold, wet Christchurch night, matched with a pretty typical Crusaders finals footy performance, to be fair. Their forward pack was dominant, their kicking game was strong from both Noah Hotham, Reihana and David Harvelu, who really impressed me in this game. And I see James O'Connor, his teammate, of course he's going to talk him up, but he was saying shit. He should be spoken about more to fill the All Blacks 12 jersey if they don't go with Geordie Barrett straight away on the return from his sabbatical in this French series. Of course, Quinn Tupaia injured. He's another one who would be putting his hand up. But yeah, David Havili in this game, I thought he was unreal. Of course, he's a leader. He's a big body, experience, got a nice short and long kicking game too, and his playmaking ability is really strong. It was his ball running that really impressed me too. He was incredibly physical, and he can hit hard on defense as well. But their kicking game of the Crusaders, from those three in particular, put them in the right areas. They forced the Reds into many errors and then just made them pay. It wasn't always pretty, but it's very effective, and it got the job done. Almost the perfect display of wet weather finals footy at home. And when you've got a forward pack like that, just stacked with All Blacks and big physical bodies too, why wouldn't you just roll out a game plan like that? Front row, very impressive. Barrett, Christian Leal-Willie, Ethan Blackadder also really good. And then in the backs, I thought Will the Thrill looked good amongst the three I mentioned before, and hopefully he gets more opportunities this week in better conditions to light it up with some razzle, because we all know how dangerous that he can be and what is going to be a mouth-watering matchup against the Blues. But well done to the Saders. Saturday, Chiefs 19, Blues 20. What a game this was. Battle of the Bombays never fails to provide, and this was another clash that'll be remembered for a very long time. 13 points down with 20 minutes to go. I thought this game was over. I thought the Chiefs had it wrapped up, but 2 tries by the Blues in the last 20 minutes snatched them the victory at the death. That Josh Berry try in the 83rd minute, the game-winning play, and what a finish this one was. The game went 60-odd minutes without a try. It was an arm wrestle of a match, plenty of momentum shifts throughout, and the physicality and the intensity was certainly that of a test match at times. Some of the shots coming in from both teams was huge. Both teams blew a try too. They had opportunities to score points and left them out on the paddock. That Cortez Ratama one right before halftime, shit, he would love that back. And I do wonder if the Chiefs had scored that, they perhaps go on from there. That could have been the momentum shift, that final kick in the dick that they needed to put the Blues away. On the other side, Bodie Barrett, geez, he had an opportunity. He tried to slide over from about 5 metres out, basically slid over the top of the ball and couldn't finish it. 2 world-class players who know their way to the try line. I expected both of them to score those points. No doubt those errors will both be one-offs. 2 big fines at the end-of-season court session for Cortez and Bodie as well. But the defending champs, they keep their season alive. A big scalp for them to claim in week 1 of the finals. And I tell you what, if they make the big dance, you can't say they didn't do it the hard way. They would have to beat the Chiefs at home, then beat the Crusaders at home in order to book their ticket to the grand final. To think 6 odd weeks ago, people were putting a line through them. They're now back to full health, and probably that was their best performance, almost 2024-like performance that we have seen from them this year. They deserve to be in a semi-final off the back of that. And geez, they're a tough team to take on this week. They will go down to Christchurch playing that underdog card, but really liking their chances and probably full of self-confidence as well. For the Chiefs, disappointing result. The late scratching of Luke Jacobson, that was pretty big for them. I thought he was really missed, as was Quinn Tupaia in this game, just for his punch. Both back this week, so that's a welcome return. I think they just flush it and move on. The Brumbies coming to town, who will be looking to pull off the upset. They need to get over it pretty quick, and by talking to Shooter and a few of the boys, sounds like they're just ready to rip back in. They will want to take care of this Brumbies side first before they get too carried away on things. Brumbies 35, Canes 28. Brumbies the better side on the night. I thought that Canes pack wasn't quite at their best. They conceded double the amount of turnovers as the Brumbies did. You can't do that against a classy side with attacking threats like Tom Wright and Andy Muirhead. Tom Wright, he has to be one of my favourite players to watch. He's so skillful, deadly feet, good speed, loves a counter-attack or a short side. And I think overall, this Brumbies side, their attacking structure is extremely underrated. Yes, they can be predictable at times, relying on their forward pack attack and set piece to dominate, but they do have attacking threats throughout their team too. And when they're on their short passing game, their counter-attack, they have plenty of razzle in their duffel bag. I thought the Canes really missed a Safo Moa. Looked like they lacked a bit of punch up front. That Brumbies starting front row turned on 4 tries combined. And for me, it was just those 2 tries either side of halftime. One on the 40th minute, right before Oranges, and then one on the 47th minute, post the break. That was the nail in the coffin. I've said it before. This is what good teams do. They strike either side of half-time. That's exactly what the Brums did, and in doing so, they booked themselves a ticket to a semi-final and ended the season for the Swills. A disappointing finish for the Canes, but when you factor it in, their losses throughout the off-season, no Geordie, no TJ, no Artie, they lose guys like Riley Higgins and that to injury as well. You'd have to say top 4 finish for them, finishing the season in 4th, probably a good result and one they would take. Although shit, they would have loved to have been in a semi this week. On to the semis we go, and of course the first one on Friday night. This is an absolute doozy. Crusaders versus Blues, 2 sides that hate each other. This rivalry is massive. It is going to be one heck of a game. The last time these 2 sides met, back in April in Christchurch, it finished 25-22 to the Satyrs thanks to an 82nd minute James O'Connor penalty right at the death to break the deadlock, and I think this one is going to go right down to the wire as well. The Crusaders, they've won 4 of their last 5 against the Blues, and the last 3 straight games between these 2 sides played in Christchurch. But as I touched on before, the Blues, underdog mentality, defending champs, but everyone had written them off. They got Rico Ioane playing the Joker card perfectly, and just on that, I love what he does. He literally is the best advertisement for Super Rugby and rugby in New Zealand at the moment. Yes, he's rattling feathers, but that's exactly what it's all about. It's that American sport mindset in a game, rugby in general, where the marketing around it is pretty pedestrian, it's pretty boring. It's good to see guys like Rico sparking things up. Blues versus Moana was made exciting by that social media battle, and now it's basically Blues versus everyone, it feels like, which adds another element and another aspect of entertainment. Plus, it gets tongues wagging, people talking about it, which can only be positive for Super Rugby. In terms of the teams named, Rob Penny, just one change to the starting side. George Bauer starts at loosehead. Tamaiti Williams, he's been ruled out with a knee injury, a massive blow for them. Big body in good form, that one will hurt. No doubt Stern Vern would have been licking his lips, seeing that the big bopper won't be available for the Blues. Settled side, just the one change at fullback. Zahn Sullivan comes in for Corey Evans. Zahn's big boot is going to prove crucial for this team. He's got attacking flair as well, but he's a steady hand at the back with a great kicking game alongside Bodie. I think it shows they're going to try play the territory battle and see if they can put this Crusaders side under pressure at home. The battle of the 4 packs is going to be massive. 2 physical packs. Winning the territory battle and the kicking game is going to be crucial. Bodie's had it on a string. It's going to be a big test for Rivers Reihana, who's been really impressive as well. But as I said before, 9, 10, 12 for the Satyrs, all with good boots, as is Will Jordan. This game is going to be a genuine lip licker, and I haven't been this excited about a Super Rugby semi in a fair while. I do give the Blues a chance, especially with that news Tamaiti is out, which I've just found out myself, recording this one just after 4 p.m. That is huge. Man, Friday night footy in an NRL bye week, it doesn't get much better than this. Bums on seats, eyeballs on screens for sure. Get up the Blues. I'd love to see them win this one. Then the Chiefs beat the Brums. Home final for the boys from the Waikato. But the Crusaders will have something else to say about that one. Then Saturday, Chiefs versus Brumbies, as I alluded to before. This one goes down at FMG Stadium in the Waikato. I expect the Chiefs to bounce back against a dangerous Brumbies side. Chiefs have won the last 3 straight, and the last time the Chiefs lost to the Brumbies was 27th of May, 2023. Earlier in the year, they played each other early doors in March, I think it was, first weekend of March, and the Chiefs won 49-34. So hopefully something similar for the Brumbies. The visitors, Coach Stephen Larkham, 0 changes to the side that got that win over the Canes last week, so you can't get much more settled than that. For the Chiefs, it's all hands back on deck. Superstar season. Luke Jacobson is back to wear the 7 and captain this side. Wallace Atiti in the 8 jersey. Then in the back line, Quinn Tupaia, huge inclusion. Sean Stevenson at the back looking to win a chip before he departs off to Kubota. The bench stacked as well. No Simon Parker on first glance at the side, so perhaps he's picked up a bit of an injury. Disappointing for a lad who I genuinely think has the potential to be an All Black bolter. Reminds me heaps of a Liam Squire, eh? Just a quiet operator that goes about his work, but he's quietly Rasley. He's physical as fuck. He can play 6 and 8, versatile, and I reckon he fits that All Black mould and that test match mould so perfectly. But a really strong side from the Chiefs. They are coming out all guns blazing here. They will want to get the job done in front of what should be a good crowd, and I expect them to get the chockies. Last but certainly not least in your Super Rugby news, a team whose season is over, but they continue to build on the massive impact they have had this year, Moana Pacifica. Of course, it came out last week they were losing about 15 guys for next season, including young gun Kyron Taumoefalau, which is a massive blow for them. I believe he's signing with the Chiefs, wants to play for the All Blacks, and thinks that his chances of doing so are a lot better down there. A big blow for them. The other 14 pretty handy footballers in there as well, some guys that provide great depth for their squad too. But I was pretty worried when I saw that. You add to that, a lot of people don't know this too, Artie Savea not playing for them next year, off on sabbatical, back to Japan to the Kobe Steelers. So that'll be a massive loss for them. But in great news, they will welcome back the wrecking ball, Ngani Laumape, of course, ex-Warrior, ex-All Black, ex-Hurricane, who's been applying his trade at the side where Artie will be lacing up next year at the Kobe Steelers. But great to have him back in New Zealand rugby. Signed with the Manawatu Turbos as well, which is huge for the NPC competition, which gets underway shortly. My favourite format of code, fizzing for that up the mighty harbour heat. But this is a great signing for Moana, 32 years old, still such a damaging player, a great leader as well. I would have loved to have seen him lace up alongside Artie. That is not to be, but 2027, both of them should be in the mixer still for Moana then. And I reckon that is a year where they're going to launch their assault on the competition. Hopefully with a couple other big names in the mix too. Guys like Lima Sapawanga, Charles Piatau, Stephen Luatua. These guys who are potentially looking to wrap things up overseas now after big stints over there. They've made their money. They want to come back home. I'd love to see them put pen to paper and just strengthen this Moana squad even more. But keen to see Laumape back in New Zealand rugby. Could he force his way back into All Black colours? I'm not too sure, but he said this is the closest thing to him for playing for Tonga, representing his island heritage, while still coming back to New Zealand and raising his young family here. So a handy pick-up for Moana Pacifica, and hopefully what is going to be another really positive season for them next year. But enjoy your semi-finals footy. I'll touch more on it in the punting segment shortly. But I got the Blues and the Chiefs making the final. Fingers crossed. That would be unreal scenes. Weekly wrap, she's short and sharp this week. A quick little shout out, NBA Finals Game 3 going down today. Well done to the Pacers. Of course, stole Game 1 on the road. Got pumped in Game 2 as we expected. That's probably how people thought this series was going to play out. But the Pacers, they did their job. They managed to steal one on the road. They now get to go home. If they can win both at home and make it 3-1 going back to OKC, then fuck me, will the pressure be on? I was on OKC in 5. You'd have to think the Pacers can at least split these in front of a patriotic fans in Indiana. Man, to go back there 2-all even to OKC would be a massive result. Get up the Pace show. I'm riding them home. I don't mind OKC. I actually love OKC, to be fair. So if they won it, then I certainly wouldn't care. But something about the Pacers, apparently they were playing 5,000 to 1 at the start of the season at the US bookies to win the NBA Finals. Imagine that. If you had a cheeky little tenner on it, 50K. Fuck, that would be elite. But I just love watching Halliburton. Actually, funny story, during COVID, when basketball cards were the craze, I got sucked in heavily, got swept up in the old social media frenzy that was popping off around it. And my guy that I was collecting in his rookie year was Tyrese Halliburton. So I've got some pretty unreal cards of him, autographed, only 20 in the world, that type of operation. So I want him to win a ring just so those prices go back up. Then I can sell high and try get some of the money back that I invested in some other cards, because shit was I paying a premium back then. But get up, old Tyrese. And then the main point of this segment, Orion Fox glazing. Well done to the bloke. Wins the Canadian Open, the biggest win of his career, his second win on the PGA Tour in the last month. Gets it done in the fourth playoff hole. Shit, he must have been nervous too. Both players, Sammy Burns and him, had the opportunity to wrap it up earlier. Second and third playoff hole. Third playoff hole, I thought Burnsy had done it after a tough approach shot from Foxy, but then he choked as well, and they were happy to go again on a fourth. Then Foxy pulls out the 3-wood of doom, the nuts on the bloke, just pipes it onto the dance floor. A huge shot from him, gets him the win with the All Whites lads, almost the full team watching on, Chris Wood and co. He banks himself $2.93 million NZ as well. Fuck yeah, Foxy. Of course, he's got the US Open this weekend, now ranked 32nd in the world. Who says he's not a sniff to go and do a crazy feat in an event like that as well? Top 10 would be massive. I've got him top 20, which we'll touch on in the punting segment shortly. But imagine if the bloke went top 5 or even won the damn thing. Why not? He's playing great golf at the moment, and I certainly think he'll be in the mixer. His confidence must be through the roof. He just seems like such a great bloke, so humble. That scenes of his daughter's playing in the bunker while he's doing the acceptance speech. It's just true blue Kiwi wholesome stuff. So well done to Ryan Fox, an absolute legend of the game. Good to see him making a bloody good living for himself as well. Still in his late 30s. Plenty of time ahead for the man. So full credit to you there, Foxy. Looking forward to chasing the Fox as well later in the year. One of the great events. Make sure you get your tickets for that when that comes out, because the success he's having on the tour, I reckon that's only going to reflect in this tournament getting bigger and bigger every year as well. How fucking good. All right, let's have a punt, courtesy, of course, of our great mates at the TAB. We'll still kick her off with the NRL, just the 5 games, but still some decent opportunities here for green ticks on bet slips, I believe. Your game tonight, Sharkies $1.32, Dragons $3.40. The Sharks, they've won their last 9 straight against the Red V. The Dragons haven't won at Shark Park since 2018 as well. For your try scorers, for the Drags, Moses Sully, he'll play his 150th NRL game. He's paying $4.10 for a milestone meaty. Sloan, the Sharks are conceding their highest percentage of tries to that edge. Like I preached about last week, I was all over RTS. Unfortunately, that didn't come through. We basically just piled on the points everywhere else across the paddock. But Sloan's side, that's the side that they should look to attack the Dragons. Careful though, he's only scored 1 try in his last 6 against them. He's paying $2.10 in this one. For the Sharkies, Ronaldo Mulitalo, of course, back as I mentioned. He scored 4 tries in his last 4 games against the Dragons. He's paying $1.67 here. Britain Nikora, he'll play his 150th NRL game. He scored 4 tries in his last 6 against the Dragons. And the Dragons, they're conceding their highest percentage of tries to opposition middle forwards as well, which leads me to believe he's a good bet at $2.70 and AFB at $3.80. Both pretty nice shouts. My same game multi for this one, I'm going to go Sharks. I reckon they'll be too good into Ronaldo and Britain Nikora, $5.79. Full Fizz Friday, Titans, Manly, Titans $3.35. The Manly Gulls $1.33. The Titans, they've conceded 36 points per game on average since round 5. COVID, social distancing, level 4 type of defense from them. They're not getting fucking near anyone at all. 0 contact. Desi's lads just leaking points. Manly, they've won 5 of their last 7 against the Titans as well. Titans winger, Olofiana Khan Pereira, he scored 5 tries in his last 3 games against Manly. Finally snapped his dry spell last week and bagged a double, so $2 for him isn't too bad shopping right here. Beau Fermor as well, he'll be stinging off the back of an Origin dropping. He scored 3 tries in his last 4 games against Manly. Don't mind him. For the Gulls, Ruben Garrick, the hot boy, he'll play his 150th NRL game. Tommy Turbo, back in the mixer. 4 tries in his last 2 games against the Titans. Factor him in. Hamole Olakauatu, he scored 4 tries in his last 3 games against the Titans and 3 tries in his last 2 games in general, after going what seemed like an eternity without scoring before that. And then Tolu Koula, he scored 2 tries in his last 3 games against the Titans and 1 in each of his last 2 games this season. Plenty of points in this game, I reckon, so I don't mind jumping on a whole lot of try scorers, a scoring smorgasbord, and see if your bet can hit there. My same game multi, I'm going to go Hamole, Koula, and AKP. That'll return $9.72. If you want to play fuck it footy, chuck in a 4th try scorer in there, back the stats, chuck Turbo in, fully healed, hopefully. That would give you $15.97. Saturday, Knights Roosters, Knights $2.60, Roosters $1.50. The Knights haven't beaten the Chooks at McDonald Jones Stadium since 2019. The Roosters have won 17 of their last 20 games against Adam O'Brien lads. For the Roosters, Daniel Tupou, he scored 5 tries in his last 4 games against the Knights. He's paying $1.92 here. I love that bet. Someone else I love as well, Marky Mark, Nwanga Netawase, has scored 7 tries in his last 5 games. $2.15 odds for him. I reckon that's pretty juicy. For the Knights, the Schiller in Manila, James Schiller, he scored 5 tries in his last 6 games at home. $2.40 right there. And then Fletcher Sharp scored 9 tries in his last 9 games, scored a double last week. He's back at fullback this week. $2.45 I reckon is a pretty good price for him. My same game multi, I'm going to go 3 try scorers here as well. I do think the Chooks will be too good though, so if you'd rather go 2 and a result, chuck them on your slips. But I'm going to go Daniel Toops into Marky Mark and Fletcher Sharp, $9.17. Cowboys Finns, Cowboys $2.50 underdogs at home. The Finns $1.55 favourites. The Cowboys, they've lost only 1 of their last 5 games at home. Love playing at Queensland Country Bank. The Dolphins though, speaking of love playing there, they've gone 2 from 2. Never lost there in their franchise's young history, so they will take this trip confident off the back of pumping the Dragons last week as well. Dolphins winger Jermaine Isako, insane in the Jermaine. He's scored 8 tries in his last 4 games against the Cows and 3 tries in his last 2 games this season. $1.72 for him. Jump on board. Herbie Farnworth, the herbivore, he's scored in his last 7 straight games. One of the great streaks, right up there with KL Idol for me. He's scored 2 tries in his last 4 games against the Cows as well, which isn't too bad. $1.90 for him. I love that. I also don't mind Connolly Lemuelu as well for some value at $4.25. The Cows, they're conceding plenty of tries through the middle of the paddock, and I reckon the big bopper old CL could dot for a meaty. For the Cowboys themselves, Zachy Labour, he scored 4 tries in 2 games against the Finns, $3.40. That's pretty juicy odds. Murray Taulangi, welcome back to him. He'll be pushing hard for a big game to try get an origin spot for game 3. He scored 2 tries in his last 2 games against the Finns, paying $1.90 in this one. And then Scotty Drink, he's on a 2-game scoring streak after going a massive fucking drought to kick us off. He's paying $2.60 anytime to score as well. My same game multi, gonna go wicked wingers into a second rower special here. Isako and Taulangi into Connolly Lemuelu, $11.29. And then the final game for your NRL round 15 this weekend, I believe she is. Bunnies $2.85, Dogs $1.44. Just checking it's round 15. It certainly is. Crazy, only 12 more rounds before finals footy. Fuck me, does the year fly by. Certainly don't want it to end. Bunnies $2.85 though, Dogs $1.44. Rabbitohs have won 6 of their last 8 against the Dogs. The Dogs haven't won both regular season games against the Bunnies since 2011. Of course, they towed them up earlier in the year, a real down trailing. So let's see if they can repeat that. The Bunnies have only won 3 of their last 8 games at a core stadium as well. For your try scorers, AJ, of course, he's always got stats to back him up. Second leading try scorer in NRL history. He scored 5 tries in his last 4 games against the Dogs. $1.96 for him. That is insane value. Keon Kolamatangi, if you want a bit more juicy, he scored 2 tries in his last 2 games, paying $4.60. And this one for the Doggies, Blake Wilson, he scored 3 tries in his last 2 games against the Bunnies. $1.96 for him, not bad. Jake Preston, he's back from suspension as well. He scored 3 tries in his last 3 games prior to his spell on the sideline. He's paying $2.95. And then Joshy Curran, bit of a value bet for me, the old mulleted menace. He's starting at prop, $5.80. I just reckon that's too much coin. Also celebrated his birthday earlier in the week. I actually think it was on Tuesday, so maybe that's an omen. Galvin Klein as well. Lockie Galvin, $3.30 for him. Also appealing. Same game multi for this one. Let's go Dogs into Blake Willison and AJ. Why not? With a cheeky little side bet on our boy Joshy Kaza to deliver the goods. State of Origin odds. Not going to do a full deep dive on it, but I will say my best bet for this game, and it's based off the back of stats, because New South Wales and Queensland, they've met twice in Origin history in Perth, and both times the result has been New South Wales by exactly 32 points. Now, when looking at the TAB app before, I couldn't get an exact winning margin of 32. The max you could go was 30 plus. So New South Wales 30 plus at $8. Queensland in turmoil. Billy Slater's basically begging to get sacked, so jump on that. If you are a Queensland fan, $3 head-to-head, sorry, $3.10 head-to-head is probably the way to go. But look, in all honesty, I'd tell you to go get your brain cells checked, because I think they'd be depleted if you're willing to back in that side. Hopefully that statement doesn't come back to hurt me, but surely it's another dominant win from the mighty Blues. Super Rugby, remember to use that bonus code as well, SUPER, before you place a try scorer bet on either of the Super Rugby semi-final games. And if it loses, your first try scorer, $20 back as bonus cash. Limit 1 per customer. Pick one game, get on it, first try scorer right at home. If it salutes, happy days. If it doesn't, no worries, bonus cash back. And shout out to the TAB for that promo last week on that Crusaders Reds games. A lot of slips in my inbox of green ticks on it. People getting around the Fords, as I recommended on the George Sports podcast on your Friday. If you don't listen to that one, make sure you tune in. Often do a deep dive into some punting there. But I tipped out Scotty Barrett, tipped out to Mighty Williams, both dotted. So that was happy days for the punters. This week, I'm looking for some value here. Blues 1 to 12, $3.70 on your Friday night. It's a big swing, but I don't mind it. As I said, historically, these games have been pretty tight. Crusaders at home against the Blues, a great record, but I'm just playing fuck it footy there. I thought, why not? Blues plus 10.5 is a conservative option for your multis. Also a good shout. Then for the Chiefs, I think they just get them head-to-head. Slim though, $1.22. So I'm going to go minus 3.5 for some extra value on my multi there. A little Johnny Cash walk the line magic multi to look to get close to double your money. Don't mind it as an investment play. I reckon they'll just be too good. A Brumbies side though that certainly won't roll over, so winning margins makes me a little nervous there. Blues upset, take them plus 10.5 alternative line, and then Chiefs minus 3.5 alternative line. Go the boys. First try scorer options, get on some forwards, chase some value. If not, bonus cash as insurance, and you swing for the fences again. Not the worst outcome there, and it's your chance to be a bit of a hero too. US Open Golf, before we move on as well, final bet, Ryan Fox, top 20, $4. Give him a taste of Kiwi. He's in fucking good form, and if anyone can do it, it's Foxy. Top 20 pretty conservative. Top 10 and to win the damn thing will also be on my slips as a cheeky little $5 swing. Why not? But top 20 for the number 32 ranked golfer in the world at the moment in fine form. I'm going to be jumping on board that. Good luck on the punt. If you're having a flutter this weekend, as always, gamble responsibly and make sure you do it through the TAB, proud sponsors of the SDS podcast. And we truly appreciate their support. All right, that's us done and dusted for another week on the Surly Pod. Next week, it'll probably be about Thursday Arvo as I look to bang out that State of Origin segment early doors Thursday morning and then release it as quickly as possible as I can for you. So it's not up at your usual time slot next week. When you like to tune in, first thing Thursday morning, the pod will be coming. A huge weekend ahead for the mighty Northcote Prems as well, taking on Takapuna this weekend for the Les Pierre Shield, which is basically the Ramfurly Shield field of North Harbour Club Rugby. Taka to their credit, bet North Shore last week, a huge dub, Shore's first loss in about 35 or 36 games, I think it was. So well done to the Taka lads for pulling that one off. Fingers crossed, though, they don't make it back-to-back dubs. The Coat lads can go the big lift. There'll be huge scenes if we win the Shield back. A bit of a parade through the Takapuna pubs. That would be elite stuff. Remember, George Sports Potty drops Friday morning too. If you'd like to tune into that, hear myself, Lee and Tammy chew the fat and talk all things sport. I believe I'll have a one take coming out next week for you as well off the back of bye week. A yarn with one of the Warriors lads to whet your appetite ahead of that game against Penrith next weekend as well. So enjoy the sport. Good luck on the punt if you're having a flutter on the TAB this weekend. And I'll catch you back here, same time, same place next week. Go the Chiefs, go the New South Wales Blues, and go the Auckland Blues against the Crusaders as well. Why not? And get up, Ryan Fox, lad. A big finish in the US Open. Top 10 would be unreal scenes. Back the Kiwi boy. Go get the job done. Foxy, one of the great New Zealanders.